This is Connor O'Gwen, and I have done a presentation on nightmares. Now, I did and put in a lot of facts about nightmares, but I want to use that to more emphasize how they're used in the Gothics, why they're used, and what makes them so horrifying when you see them in a novel, in a book, in a play. Now, one main thing is nightmares don't they keep you from wanting to sleep. Especially as a child. You have a nightmare, you run into your parents' room, crying. Now, imagine that being used in a movie. It really brings out, it hits home. Oh, being killed in my sleep like in Nightmare on Elm Street. That is just horrifying. Your greatest fear, you're going around, you're running, you're screaming, and there's no way you can get out of it. The only end is Freddy Krueger kills you. It's a great way that they have used Nightmare and put into a screenplay. Now, there's also a book from Simona Panova, Nightmare Sacrifices. It's about a reoccurring nightmare. Recurring nightmares are the worst. They form into night terrors. Have a recurring dream for about a week. Maybe it comes every once a year. And it can sometimes take control of your life. And that's exactly what it does here. It's a great use of that, and it really brings a very gothic pull to it, in a way. And that comes back to the next slide, the takeover. Nightmares, especially recurring, have a way of messing with your brain. It's again why nightmares are so highly utilized, because they can truly control you. They can control your decisions. What if this nightmare comes true? What if it's a premonition? And premonitions are coming in the next slide. But again, with the takeover, they make you want to flip the light on. They make you want to not be alone. Again, the kid running up to their parents' room, horrified. But back to the premonitions. Premonitions in horror movies, especially with nightmares, are not used enough. Like in Freddy Krueger, it's not like, oh, I'm having a dream, I'm going to die, it's I'm dying in my dream. But imagine this. You're the President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, and you have a dream of people guarding a dead body and saying specifically it's the President and he has been assassinated. Then 4 days later, you die. You had no idea that dream was going to come true, but it did. This has happened with famous events, 9/11 and the Titanic. 19 people had nightmares of the Titanic sinking. One of them included the Ticketmaster. He had a reoccurring dream that happened for about a week before this horrible event took place. Now, I understand why specifically these three things I've mentioned have not been used in movies or much in Gothic literature, but stuff like this would be very strong to use, and it's not utilized enough. Now, this one, the next slide, I have famous Frankenstein. Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. Yeah, we all know that. And in the title I put, it is thought that guilt,
This is Connor O'Gwen,
sadness,
and
confusion are the cause of nightmares rather than fear.
Nightmares.
Now, I didn't write a lot about Frankenstein here because I mainly wanted to
facts
talk about
I
him.
want to use that
Guilt,
to more
sadness,
emphasize
and confusion.
how they're
It causes
used
a lot of
in
causes
the
a lot of
Gothics,
nightmares,
why they're used,
and it
and
brings into Frankenstein, which is he himself
makes
is a
them
living
so
nightmare.
horrifying when you see them in a novel,
It's not really the
in a
dream
book,
nightmare
in a play.
that I've been talking about, but it's a different approach that I really wanted to hit on
main thing is
strongly.
nightmares don't
He
they keep
feels
you from wanting
these
to
more
sleep.
than most people feel in their entire life,
Especially as a
even
child.
though he is
You
a
have
fictional
nightmare, you run
character.
to your parents' room,
Confusion.
crying.
Why would
Now,
you bring me into this
imagine
world?
that being used
You're just gonna hate me.
in a movie.
If you're gonna loathe me,
It really
brings sadness,
it
brings
hits
guilt.
home.
Now,
Oh, being killed in
all
my sleep
these
like
three
in
emotions, and
Nightmare on Elm
Frankenstein,
Street,
he also wants love, but he's never
that
gonna get it.
is just
They come
horrifying.
into dreams
You
and
breathe fear,
nightmares
you're going around, you're running, you're
because
screaming,
it's
and there's no way you get
things
out of
that
it.
really
The
make
only
you
end
anxious
is Freddy Krueger
and
kills you.
really
It's a
about.
great way that they have
I
used
brought in the stereotypical
nightmare
dream of you being in your
and put
underwear
it into a screenplay.
in school. We've all
Now,
had it.
there's also a book from Simona.
It's that. It's
I know.
self-image. It might not be
Nightmare
considered.
Sacrifices.
You might not consider it a nightmare
It's
because the
about a
stereotypical
reoccurring
nightmare
nightmare.
is the Freddy Krueger,
Recurring nightmares are the worst.
your
They
worst
form
dream and
into
die,
night terrors. Have a recurring
premonition
dream for about
nightmare.
a week. Maybe it comes every once a year.
But these are just as bad.
And
They don't wake
it
you
can
up in
sometimes
screaming
take control of your
terror
life.
and cold
And
sweats,
that's exactly what
and
it
they
does
don't
here.
make you not want to
It's
sleep.
a
Well, sometimes they do.
great use of that.
Imagine
and
a
it
horrible
really
breakup. Keep on dreaming
brings
about your
a
ex,
very
the good
gothic
times you can't get out of your mind,
pull to
and it makes you not want to sleep.
in a way.
You might not consider that a nightmare,
And
but in reality, it
that
is
always that comes
being
back
hated,
to the next
being
slide,
judged.
the takeover.
There are nightmares, and in Frankenstein, one of the
Nightmares,
original
especially
Gothic
recurring,
literatures, these are punched in hard,
have a
not
way
in a
of
dream,
messing with your brain.
but
This
in
again
reality,
why nightmares are so highly
and
used,
it is utilized so well. And that's the reason I really
because
wanted to
they
hit
can
hard with
truly
this.
control you. They can control your decisions.
Now, my
What
next
if
slide is some
this
very
nightmare
reliable
comes true?
resources.
What if it's a
First
premonition?
two are from Galileo. The first one's the
And
main one I'll talk
premonitions
about. It goes
are
into
coming
very good
in the
detail
next slide.
using the original Freddy
But again,
Krueger
with the
and the
takeover,
2010 Nightmare on
they
Elm
make you
Street,
want to flip the light on. They make you want to
and
not be
really
alone.
compares how
Again, the
Gothic
kid running up to their parents' room,
and how they
horrified.
use nightmares like
But
really well.
back to the premonitions.
The third
This
one
is
right
a
here
premonitions in horror movies,
is
especially with nightmares, are not used enough.
about
Like in Freddy Krueger,
hold on,
it's not
sorry.
like, oh, I'm having a dream, I'm going to die. It's I'm
Gothic
dying in my
dreams.
dream.
I did go into detail with Gothic
But imagine
dreams,
this.
but this takes a
You're
similar
the
but
president of the United States,
semi-different
Abraham Lincoln,
approach that is very interesting.
and you have a dream
Last one
of people guarding
is
a dead body
something I found a
and
very,
saying
very old
specifically
painting,
it's the president and he has been assassinated.
and it is
Then 4
one of
days
the
later,
original
he died.
Gothic paintings,
He had no
and it
idea
just
this dream was
shows
going to come true.
a demon
But
on
it
a
did.
lady, and it looks like a demonic
This has
horse.
happened with
Goes into
with
really much
famous
detail
events,
about it.
9/11,